Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the Sons of Vidya podcast.
Yeah, dude. Keeping it loose right off the bat.
Oh, yeah. This is your friend D. Marks.
Chair noises. Here we go. Anyway.
Starting off all the noises.
Yeah, we live... It's not a world-class studio here.
Well, it's like you said, we have a professional environment where we don't want extra noises.
Most studios, as you know, are two office chairs right in front of a computer.
A really cramped desk area.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Anyway, people, welcome to the Sons of Vidya podcast.
How are y'all doing?
I'm
are you
Tom
doing
C.
good?
I don't think I said my name.
I know I said I but I'll say it again because mine's twice as good as yours. D. Marks right here.
This is Tom C. And this episode's going to be a little bit...
D. Marks.
It's going to be a little more serious than usual, as you can tell from this intro crap.
Well, yeah, and also our tuxedos.
Because the main subject is going to be somewhat legitimate.
It's one that we don't want people to think that
we take it very seriously.
And we don't want people to think that we're joking around or making light of something.
It also might be a podcast that probably gets a lot of attention from new listeners. And so what I want to do right off the bat is just quick give the plugs that we normally give later in the show. Just so you know what we're doing and where you can find us. Obviously this podcast.
Because we have a major web presence.
I'd like to, and that's why we're doing this. People, our goal isn't to become like big on YouTube or anything, but we do have a YouTube channel. It's Sons of Vidya. If you just YouTube it, you'll find it.
We also have a blog, some call it, and I think it's Swedish. But
BLOUWG.
No, it's BLOGUE.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like Segway.
Exactly. Well, like road.
Well, what is that blog there?
The blog, blogger.
Yeah.
Blog A? Yeah. The blog A, it's sonsofvidya.blogspot.com, and admittedly I haven't been updating that recently because I've been trying to reformat it a little bit, but I feel like
what you say there is you say it's
under construction.
Always under construction. That sounds better than I haven't done it recently. Anyway, we're doing the videos on there. I'm doing them pretty often. The blog spot is going to be where we have a lot of updates on our stuff, but also articles and such.
Normal blog stuff.
Normal blog stuff. Also, the real goal, it's not to have like a YouTube presence or anything, but it's to get people to listen to the podcast. Our goal is never to make money, but instead have people care about our opinions. And so...
Because Lord knows no one else we know does.
Yeah. So we're trying to get them here.
Yeah.
So if you have friends, tell them to listen. Also, our email is important. Every week, if you send us an email, we award one of the emailers a Steam game if you include your Steam name.
Yeah, or like, Xbox Live.
Whatever you have, we want to help you out because we love that you're listening.
Right.
Anyway, so without further ado...
Well, you didn't tell them the email address.
Oh, yeah. I actually do include it in every actual description, but it's probably good that I tell them. You can probably figure out it's sonsofvidya@gmail.com. That's sons as in father son, of as in of, and Vidya as in Vidya.
And since we spelled the name of the email account, you know what time it is means for the now.
No.
Speed reviews.
No, we're not doing that yet. That's later in the show, everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, we're kind of out of order today.
Oh. I wish you kind of told me that. Now I'm a little embarrassed.
You just use your time machine. Anyway, so...
We got to edit this out in post.
Yeah, okay. So, the thing is, this week, it's a...
Wait, Tom, before we go into this...
Oh, boy.
Have you applied your cummerbund?
I wanted to tell you that because of our serious topic, we both dressed up for this.
Yeah, like I said earlier, we're both wearing full tuxedos.
We're not gonna come to this lightly. This isn't a t-shirt jeans kind of thing.
This is a lot less of a podcast and a lot more of a pod press release.
I said, dress like you're going to the TED conference. And you know what he did? He asked me who's Ted. Laughable, I said.
Who is Ted? For the listeners at home.
I don't know. I think it stands for something. Ted Edible Delights.
I would say
so we're
it's
both wearing our suits.
Erectile dysfunction.
Hey, no jokes like that. This is a serious podcast.
Well, that would be an acronym that would fit along with TED.
It would be a very serious condition, too.
It would be. And
we do not make fun of our ED brothers.
That's why it's serious.
Anyway, guys, I probably will be the less smart person in this podcast because my good friend D. Marks is a very smart man and is good at talking.
Thank you. Yeah,
So,
but to Tom's defense, I'm also very good looking.
Yeah, there's that too. We're getting off to the right start for this theme this week, and I'm just going to intro the theme because you're going to be doing a lot of the talking here. But the subject of today's podcast is it relates to EA's thing. We talked about it a little bit last week, and we actually
let's do a recap about what we talked about last week a little bit.
Okay, well, last week EA decided that since they got this consumerist thing telling everyone they're the worst company, they decided to kind of like do this spam bot campaign. By the way, it was released. There was a bunch of spam bots who were voting for it. But that like EA was like...
Basically, EA was taking a lot of flack because it features a decent amount of characters who are gay or otherwise alternatively lifestyled in their games. And they get a lot of flack from a more conservative political wing because of that.
They were trying to spin the story in that way.
Yeah, they're trying to take a cover because of that to make up for their rather shoddy business practices.
They wanted everyone to think that they were really progressive in that, and they wanted to acquire new fans that believe that they're doing that, as opposed to the old fans who know they suck because they're a terrible business.
Yeah, and what we had talked about last week was basically how that was kind of like it was really a shameful spin because... How
dare they use that whole culture like that?
Yeah, it's just like saying, oh, well, my company takes a lot of bad flack because we feature black people in our games.
It's just ridiculous. It's disgraceful.
Yeah, and it's totally unwarranted, and it's really
and it's untrue,
and it's an unprovable thing.
It was clearly a made up story for this for them to try and get out of a terrible press thing.
Yeah, but
and that's fine.
So
whatever.
So we talked about that last week, and then we mentioned how we kind of went into a few points about homosexuality and video gaming, and we kind of decided on air to do it as this week's topic.
It's important that we talk about it.
Yeah, I think it's something that's as gay people and, alternate lifestyle people. I made the joke last week of LGBTYWXQRST people.
I think that's a race car.
It might be. I'll have to double check on that.
Yeah.
Would you say it's a... I'm not going to say it.
Okay,
anyway.
Were you going to make a Grease Lightning joke?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, sorry.
But as as gay rights in America starts to become... Well, it continues to be a really
a somewhat political podcast.
Well, no,
I don't want it to get too serious.
I'm just trying to give some kind of background to it.
Can we give our backgrounds? Because that's probably important.
Could I just make the point I was trying to make?
Sorry, you're right.
Okay.
I tried to avoid doing this week.
As gay rights is still a major issue in the United States, I think the fact that there's more and more homosexuals in video games, I think that's a reflection of the times, and I do believe some developers do use it in a good way, and some developers don't. Anyway, Tom, what were you going to say?
Well, I just wanted to say what our standpoint on is this whole thing in general. I like to think of myself as somewhat progressive for everything.
Yeah.
And that my standpoint on basically every kind of group or thing or anything is that I don't care. As long as it doesn't affect me, I don't care. And I feel like that's the safest and most kind way to be to any human.
Yeah, I mean...
I support anyone's rights as long as it doesn't infringe on mine, because I'm an American patriot.
Exactly. Not the bad kind of patriot, though.
Not the patriots.
Exactly. Yeah. And I also feel very much the same way. I mean, I know a few people who are, alternatively lifestyled or whatever you want to call it nowadays. I'm probably going to refer to that from now on in the podcast just because it's a little easier. But, I know a lot of people like that. And
I do too.
Some of my good friends are that. And, when people make a stink about homosexuality or stuff like that, it kind of bothers me because, as Tom said, it doesn't affect these people that were making this big fuss about it. It's stupid.
If they don't like gay people, then don't be gay.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy, guys.
So, this brings us to this week's topic about homosexuality in video games.
Is it how they're portrayed, or let's be a little more clear on the subject here?
Well, I think it's pretty much whatever. I think we can just kind of keep this a loose topic.
Loose goose.
Yeah. I think that's
the
important.
Spruce moose.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I mean, the first thing to talk about would be the first thing to talk about that would be good. God, sorry about that. Would be their portrayal in video games, because a lot of video games, a lot of publishers and developers...
It's a video game show.
Exactly. Well, that also. But a lot of developers and publishers, they portray gay people in very different ways, just as there are, in real life, different kinds of gay people.
There's a lot of very poor examples of gay people in games.
Yes,
sure.
And when we had talked about this, and I'd kind of been thinking about talking points that I wanted to bring up, I think this is the main one I kind of stuck with. And I think right now, kind of in video games, I think... bringing in a homosexual character or something like that is an excuse for a lack of depth in story and stuff like that. And I think if people just kind of throw in a gay character just because, I think that's kind of a it's trying to make up because there's a character here who's conflicted because they're gay or whatever, and society doesn't understand them or what have you. And I feel like some publishers just use that as an excuse to make up for poor characterization.
Yeah, it's that's especially true in games that have like a different time period than ours currently.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of games you'll have like maybe like a Dragon Age where there's gay people.
Right.
But like that's a totally different time period. Why would it be the same way as it is right now?
Well, I mean, if I remember correctly from Dragon Age, in Thedos, homosexuality is more or less accepted. But even then, I feel like... Because, again, Dragon Age is an EA game, so EA...
It's also a BioWare game.
Well, yeah, but EA was the one making the claims about the gay people, and Dragon Age is a game that has gay people in it.
True.
Well, at least bisexual people, if you're,
Yeah. Wait, wasn't that one thief guy totally, like, straight up gay only?
No.
Really?
In the first one?
I think so.
Zevran? No, he was bisexual.
Oh. Well, luckily I didn't really play that game too much.
Well, yeah. That's what's important. You gotta come in prepared.
Yeah, I was really on board with that.
Anyway. But I feel like in some cases it's halfway between trying to come up for poor characterization just by introducing a character as being gay or bisexual, and partly just kind of like fanboys and fangirls are just going to want to see two hot video game chicks or guys make out, so they kind of throw it in like that. And I feel like it's kind of executed in a poor way because of that, and I think it's just a way to kind of get money, and they're kind of exploiting that entire culture as a way to, reach a wider audience, which I can understand people doing because, corporations have been doing that for years, but it doesn't, just because they've been doing it doesn't mean that it has to be okay. We have to be okay with it.
I think we're holding back on making the point we both want to make.
Yeah. Can I make the point?
I'm gonna lead you there.
Okay.
Because basically, there's very, very many poor examples of gay people, and it's because of the fact that what defines these characters is the fact that they're gay.
Right, and that's kind of what I was touching on, the fact that having a character who is gay makes up for poor characterization.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at, say...
Well, I'm going to get there. You let me get there.
No. I'm looking at a bad example.
Okay, sorry.
If you're looking at Mass Effect 3, you have the Kodiak shuttle pilot, Cortez, I think his name was, on the Normandy. And, like, pretty much his whole shtick about the character was the fact that he was gay. And that was pretty much it. He had lost a husband on some attack or whatever. But honestly, as a character, he probably wouldn't stand out compared to the rest of the crew of the Normandy if he wasn't gay. If he had lost a wife on a Reaper attack or whatever, I don't think anyone would remember him just because, otherwise he'd just be a regular guy. But the fact that he was gay makes people remember it, and otherwise he's not really fleshed out as a character.
Yeah, because that's all he's got.
Yeah.
There's nothing else there. A movie wouldn't pull that crap.
No.
You wouldn't just be the gay guy from that movie.
Yeah, unless it's, a shallow movie.
Yeah, that's true. But what I'm going to say is, like real gay people, a video game person should not be only gay. Because if you're gay, that's what you do sexually, but you're a human being and you have a lot of different things going on.
Unless you're a prostitute or something like that. Sex is not
That would be the
life.
first thing you come to, if you're a prostitute. But regardless...
like, I am a gay prostitute, so this comes up a lot.
Yeah, you that's how you talk to people, because that's what you got. That's your job.
Yeah.
All right?
You're just talking shop at that point.
In your regular life...
Exactly.
You wouldn't bring that up. It's different things. It's compartmentalized. Just like you wouldn't walk up to every person you see and be like, I'm a straight man. As a straight man, I love my wife.
Coming from a
that.
viewpoint of a man who enjoys having sex with women.
That's not how people talk, and it's not how people act.
No.
Just because you may know a gay person in real life, and I guarantee you he doesn't start every conversation with something relating to how he's gay. Even if he's in the happiest relationship on earth. Not because he's embarrassed about it, but because it's not relevant all the time.
No, it just isn't. And developers, I think, they really kind of shove it in your face. And again,
they want you to
not
know
that there's
that
anything wrong with... Not that I have any problems with being exposed to gay people, but it's poor characterization. It's poor charactering.
It's exploitation of the characters in order to get attention for having that. To try and create this kind of diverse world when it's just being shallowly put there.
Exactly.
Which is how I'm going to get to this actual point I'm going to make.
Okay, all right.
We both... I recently read an article about gay characters in games, and it was specifically talking about how one was very, very well done, specifically because of the fact that you wouldn't know he's gay unless you actively got into his conversations or did like the research and got to know him. And I hate to talk about it every week, but we're gonna.
We have to, I'm sorry.
It's from his character from Fallout New Vegas, which of course... By the way, 100% of the people in that game were gay, basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of gay people in that game.
I remember when I first started playing it, I made the joke that, like, apparently in the Wasteland, like, 60% of people are gay. Which is fine, whatever. But Because there are some bad examples of homosexuality in that game too.
Yeah, but I think they're not really they don't commit as many crimes as other games do.
Well,
though.
honestly, yeah. Because basically, it's just it's showcasing the acceptedness of it at that point.
Yeah.
Because you have like because in any casino they're like grab a girl or guy. They're not like we're gay here. But anyway,
welcome to the gay casino.
You have a few examples.
The gay casino.
You have a few examples of very of like straight up gay people.
Yeah.
But the best example that the article cited of any gay character in games was Arcade Gannon from Fallout New Vegas, who you might not even know was gay.
Exactly. Arcade Gannon, who was the member of the Followers of the Apocalypse, the son of an officer in the Enclave Romnant, also voiced by Zachary Levi of Chuck fame.
Yeah.
He was the voice of someone else.
You know who's on Chuck, though?
Yeah, it's Yvonne Stravinsky.
Yvonne Stravinsky.
Yeah, there you go.
Also known as Miranda from Mass Effect, for all you listeners who aren't informed.
I think Zach Levi did another Mass Effect voice, but I don't remember what it was.
Zach Levi actually did a couple of voices from a lot of things. He might actually be in Fallout New Vegas.
Well, obviously he's in Fallout New Vegas. He's
right, yeah. He was that guy that we're talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, so you have Arcade Gannon. And Arcade Gannon is, for all intents and purposes, a 100% normal individual who happens to, have a laser. Otherwise, he's just a regular dude. He's just a regular, smart doctor guy. What's
important was when you just described his character, you didn't say he was the gay guy.
Yeah.
He was the scientist. He was the son of an Enclave guy. He was the laser guy. He was a doctor in the Followers of the Apocalypse. He was all of these things. He was the kind of smart guy, the witty guy, the guy who was kind of subdued. He wasn't the gay guy.
Yeah. I mean, occasionally he'll make a mention of something in passing about being gay or liking dudes or whatever, but it certainly doesn't define his character. He mostly just uses a humorous quip.
He was so subtle about it.
And one of the things I read about it was how, on the Fallout Wiki, was that the players noticed that he used humor as a way to deflect, personal inquiries about himself or anything like that. But, the fact that he was gay was practically of no consequence.
Yeah. The only way you can learn about it is if you really press him, or if your character was gay because you took the confirmed bachelor perk.
Yeah.
Which is probably how it would work for real gay people.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of...
You have to earn their trust, just like anyone else in their sexual things.
You got to send some, you got to test the waters, as it were. Kind of get a feel for how things are.
I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any flaming gay people in real life or anything. You can be as gay as you want.
Yeah.
But that's not how... every game portrays him as only being gay. And even, the super-duper crazy ones in real life, like a RuPaul, that doesn't count. I'm digging a hole here.
I don't think RuPaul is gay.
Drag queen.
Yeah, but I don't think
I'm digging myself into the wrong hole here. I'm just saying, I accept any kind of gayness, but that's 100% of what you get in games, excluding this.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people would say maybe,
I wish I took back that RuPaul thing. I'm gonna edit that in post.
Smart. And a lot of people might say, well, what about Veronica? She also was gay.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So is Betty, but let's go on.
Wait, which... Oh, Corporal Betty.
Well, she's aggressively lesbian now that she was raped.
Well, yeah, she's rape gay.
I don't know that she was raped gay. I think she was always a lesbian.
I don't know if she was or not. I don't remember.
I think the article I read implied that.
Well, people might be asking, what about Veronica? Because she's also gay in the game. And I feel like, Veronica's just not... Veronica never has been as much as a character that's been fleshed out as Arcade was. I mean, yeah, you knew a lot about Veronica and how she had butted heads with the Brotherhood, and, she probably had a girlfriend. Christine Royce from the DLC was probably a girlfriend or whatever. But to me, she just was never as fleshed out as an NPC as even Arcade was. I mean, as far as, don't get me wrong, I would love to see Felicia Day and, what's her face?
I forget who the other
Veronica
one was,
Belmont make out.
Was that really who they both were?
Yeah.
That was good casting.
Yeah.
I think they confirmed that they were dating in the game.
No, I don't think they ever did.
I think they did.
I think they...
I think Christine did.
I think they all but confirmed it.
I think they... it's definitely what is the case. But
yeah, I don't think they ever...
they confirmed it.
Regardless, it really isn't important.
Yeah, sorry.
The important thing is that...
We like New Vegas a little bit.
I just feel like Veronica was never really fleshed out as a character as Arcade was. And even though they're both gay, I feel like, honestly, Arcade is the more compelling gay character. Just because and looking back on it now, Veronica's life was affected because she was gay, because Elijah did split up Veronica and Christine, probably to keep Veronica from, fulfilling her potential as Elijah's protege or whatever. But, you know, even then, I don't know. I just feel like Arcade's not a much better fleshed out character.
Regardless, even then, those are all great examples of gay people in games.
Yeah.
That's done right. It's done right. Because, I just want to go back. I don't believe for a minute that EA was hit by a gay hate group that voted them the worst company in America. If you really think that's what happens, you're completely outrageous. Because it's been confirmed that they had, like, spam bots doing stuff. Because they eventually, like, joined this one website. It was, like, All Out or whatever. And they had, like, all these people supporting EA's fight against hate groups. They were all spam bots, though. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment that you're using this group to try and get new fans and to get forgiveness for being a terrible company. It's why you're a terrible company.
Yeah, it's a publicity stunt, and the worst kind of publicity stunt.
It's just straight up disgraceful.
Yeah.
If you're going to make a terrible product, you're going to screw over your customers, how dare you have the lack of grace.
The audacity.
The lack of grace to try and blame it on something else. Just fix your effing company and stop being garbage. But anyway, we're talking about gay people.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Every time that I say, remember you watch a Soup?
Yeah.
They have a sequence called Gay Shows, and they do like a giant guitar solo, and they show a bunch of manly things. I wish we had that effect. Okay. I wish we had it.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I got off track. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's that much more else to say. Some games do it well, and some games don't. We're all glad that Fallout does it well, because Fallout rules.
No swearing.
I said funking.
Funking. We're going to have to edit out your cursing.
I said funking.
I said effing earlier. We're going to get away with that. Remember, edit yourself. Here's the deal. One whole nation that deserves some scorn. Japan. When have they ever made a good gay character in a game? Like, think of a JRPG. Oh, boy.
Yeah, but I think
they're not. Yeah,
I think that's kind of
it's a culture thing.
Well, no, not even that. I think that's kind of a little personally. I think that's a little short-sighted to think that that people have to make games that have gay characters in it, because they don't.
You know what? You're right. I feel like I feel like a jerk now.
Please apologize.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
To Japan.
Yeah, I understand that people want to have diversity in games, and we want everyone to be represented or anything like that. But that
you're right. I want to formally apologize now.
It isn't always the case, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Admittedly, I'm a white male, aged 18 to 45, so I pretty much control all the power in the world.
You're in the gold zone.
Exactly. I'm feeling real good. But the fact of the matter is,
I want to make a good point.
Okay, go ahead.
Because now that I think about what I said,
I couldn't finish that.
I want to take it back. Yeah, it's like a Mitch Hedberg joke. He starts telling a joke and he starts laughing. He's like, "It's good that made me laugh because I didn't have an end to that joke." Anyway, what I want to say is, I hope one day we get to the point of movies and games where a character is gay or black or some sort of ethnicity or whatever because that's what the story calls for, and not because of some quotient of diversity we have to hit.
What about Roots?
Yeah, well, they were all cast because that was the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. A story should call for the character, not the amount of things you need.
Yeah.
Because that's just using a person's life as some kind of chip in a thing.
Yeah.
We need to be at the point where we're not trying to appease every group, but that all groups are accepted, and they're used for when they need to be used in a story to get the expression across.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that people should be actively taking away gay characters or.
No, I wouldn't. Obviously, not saying that.
But I think it's your responsibility that if you put a gay character in a game to make it, a good character and not just a gay character.
Yeah, that's very true. If you're gonna, because that's kind of what I'm saying. You don't just put a gay character in and have him say I'm gay and then he walks away.
Yeah. Have
him be a character who's fleshed out and important, or else you're making this stupid, shallow viewpoint of homosexuals. There's way more to... Because my worry is that there's gamers who have not experienced a gay person. They live in the Antarctic. They were born there. They're raised there. All they do is play some terrible EA games, and they say...
We're not saying that gay people can't be Antarctic scientists.
No, I'm not saying that everyone from Antarctic who was born there are ignorant.
Yeah.
Not intolerant. What I'm saying is they weren't aware of anything. They play these games, and they get the experience that homosexuals are guys who come up to you and say, I'm gay. Or, like, they have nothing else going on besides being gay. Every person on Earth is not whatever their sexuality is. And that's what everyone needs to start understanding. People have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's not just, I'm a gay person.
People are always infinitely more complex than you can give them credit for.
I keep doing ethnicity too, but it relates because
it does relate.
They're oppressed groups. A black person isn't just a black person.
Yeah.
Everyone is an individual, and I'm not going to even go to that stupid everyone's special, but everyone is unique in their own way.
Right.
And they're not just what their sexuality is or what their race is or what anything is. And that it should be obvious to everyone, but it isn't.
And that's really what the point of this entire segment has been.
It is. It's that if you're going to put a character in there, make him good, because people should be fleshed out. Because it just relates, you're making a bad story. You're making a bad game. If you're not making a character that's good, just because you want to make a character that's gay. That's ridiculous. Are you looking something up on your phone?
No, I was waiting until you were done. I was listening.
Oh, okay. I thought you were researching.
No.
What I should have done was found the actual article I was reading.
That would have been real smart.
I should have. It was a really good site, too. I'll maybe link it in the description. I won't do that, but I'll
link it up on the blog if you can write it.
Nice!
Anyway,
that's why we have the blog, people.
That is exactly why we had the blog. Anyway, kids.
I don't know if I can think of anything more to say.
I was about to wrap it up because I think we're pretty much done with this segment.
Well, let's try and go out of it gracefully.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for understanding our viewpoint.
Don't let him go, though. We got plenty more segments to go.
Well, yeah, but, you know.
It's about to get real manly in this next segment.
Well, that's not to say that gay people cannot be manly.
Oh, no, dude. Here's a secret. I'm going to admit it on the air. Bear Force 1 is great.
I don't think that's any secret.
Oh, God, do I love Bear Force 1. We're watching that after the podcast. Let's link that on the blog.
Yeah.
God, I love Bear Force 1.
Dude, we should watch Bear Force 1 and then watch Philadelphia.
I've never seen Philadelphia.
It's a really sad movie, but it's really good.
I feel like that's almost stereotypical.
Why? What's stereotypical about it?
Bear Force 1 is way better than that, and you're comparing the two.
I would probably venture to say that Philadelphia is probably a little better than Bear Force 1.
Have you seen Bear Force 1?
I have seen. You have not seen Philadelphia. I have seen both things.
Yeah, that does make you an expert.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll see you guys after the song.
Exactly.
All right. See you.
Thank you.
We're back, everybody. That song probably only played for like 4 seconds.
Yeah, but you figured out.
Getting emails, everyone's like, why don't you just put the whole song in there? You guys don't have time for a whole song.
Well, that also, and we don't know how copyright and stuff works, so if we don't play all of it, then I think we can avoid a lot of that stuff.
I'm not sure about that.
I think we can.
I'm not sure about that.
I think we should start talking about our next segment, which kind of has to do with a lot of other things.
It's also sort of explicit.
Yeah. It's a whole segment.
It's a new game. It's a new game that we're actually playing.
Yeah, it's a whole segment on a new game. Some we might have heard of. It's called Skullgirls.
It's called Skullgirls. That's a French release.
Well, yeah.
Skullgirls.
Skullgirls.
Well, I don't even know what accent that is. But it's Skullgirls. It just came out. It came out on the 11th for Xbox, which is what I have. Which is why my finger has a blister on it. Because the D-pad is still bad.
Yeah, he's been going nuts. He's been going nutsies with it.
It's
soup nutsy.
It's basically what I've been playing. I put down Red Dead Redemption for a week, and now I'm playing this.
Yeah.
And I was excited for it because I hear that it's made by the community for the community as a tournament style game. And
here's my point about the whole thing. I think I'll sum it up quite nicely. To me, from what I played with it and from what I've seen him play of it, Skullgirls is very much a love letter to 2D fighting games, but that's also still very relevant to this generation.
I like that, but I want you to expand.
Well, you said it yourself, and from what I've seen...
Don't steal my point, though.
I wasn't going to.
I only have a few points.
I wasn't going to, hopefully.
I'm not a professional broadcaster.
The simple fact of the matter is that...
Trained military veterans.
You can tell that the people who made Skullgirls were very much influenced by Daisuke Ishwatari, who made Guilty Gear and who made BlazBlue. And that's very evident, not only in the character design, the character design is all very good, but also just the fact that the way the characters move, the way the attacks work, and just the relative kind of silliness to the characters, even though it's a kind of serious game because it has to do with this skull, this...
I don't know if it's relatively serious.
Well, if you took out at its core, it's serious.
I think you mean the gameplay is solid. You don't mean the actual story.
Well, I mean, I do kind of.
Okay. I don't know if I believe in that.
Well, I mean, the core gameplay revolves around
the characters in the game take the story seriously.
Well, the whole thing revolves around a skull that grants wishes, but if your wish isn't pure, it slowly corrupts you into a being of horrible evil.
It's like Soul Blade.
I think that
or Soul Edge.
I think that's kind of evil, or I think that's kind of serious.
That's true. Now you say.
But the fact of the matter is that
I take it all back. It's hard for a fighting game to be a serious story.
But it has some seriousness to it, but there's also a lot of humor in it. The characters are kind of goofy.
Like Peacock.
Yeah, Peacock, who's kind of like the Faust of this game.
Who's definitely like the Faust of this game.
But, everyone has all their kind of silliness to it. Obviously, there's a lot of sexuality in the game because, it's a lot of sexuality in the game.
That's the point I'm going to get to eventually.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not done talking.
Okay, I know you're not. That's why I didn't get into it right now.
But the fact of the matter is that...
Slim Jim my way in there, and I didn't.
Like I said, it is a love letter, but it's also very relevant because, as Tom said, it was made by fighting fans for fighting fans to specifically be like a tournament-style fighting game.
Yeah, and they want to keep rubbing that in your face, too.
Yeah,
That's all they talk about.
But they really want, to have those impressive, YouTube-worthy combos that people go back and watch for years to come.
YouTube-worthy is the highest level of praise for a fighting game.
Well, yeah, it almost is.
It almost is. The point I was going to make, too, and it relates to the sexuality of the game, and don't get me wrong, we're NSFW here. We enjoy women. We enjoy scantily clad women, which is why we started off the podcast with the whole thing.
We enjoy scantily clad animated women.
Yeah, we're not above that, It's not lost on us. But what I'm worried about is you have a really solid fighting game here that may be taken less seriously because of that, and I hope it doesn't. Because the fighting mechanics are all really solid. The fighting itself is easy to get into, but I know that there's a lot of potential for a very, very high level of play, and the mechanics are all great. But I'm worried that people would instantly disregard it, dismiss it. Because it's like an Xbox arcade game and it's not like an actual release. I think that's one of its issues.
Well, no, I don't think that's that much of a problem. Just because I think the gradual kind of development cycle that it's been going through about how it's not really a fleshed out game in its entirety yet because there's still characters that they're
yeah, but I feel like people would be more likely to buy it off the shelves, and people who would go through the Xbox Live Arcade would be less likely to buy it.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is I don't think it's bad because you're saving a lot of. It's a chance to save a lot of money. And
no, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Xbox Live Arcade isn't the way to go for a business standpoint. I just worry that it might be taken less seriously.
Well, I mean, what about... Okay, here's a really good point that's hopefully going to crush you a little bit. What about a Dear Esther? That's a great game, and it would never have made it on a disc release.
I think it was the way to go for that game.
Yeah, and I think it's the way to go for this game.
Well, what I'm trying to get to is I think Skullgirls could have been a full release.
I don't think it could have been.
If it had a little more characters... and maybe slightly longer stuff, that could have been a full fighting game. Yeah. It's not missing that much.
Yeah, but this way you can keep budgets down, and you're keeping it at a price that you're reaching a bigger audience by having a smaller price.
This is not the point I was trying to get to.
No.
I'm not trying to argue with releasing a digital content game. What I'm worried about is that the game won't be taken seriously enough because of some of the choices. And I like all the choices they made, and I hope they keep doing all the choices they made, but I want people to actually take it seriously. That's kind of the point of why we're bringing it up right now.
I don't think you're gonna. I honestly don't think you're gonna have a problem with people taking. I
think people who know what it is are gonna buy it.
Yeah, because
I think people who are just coming across it aren't going to.
Because I mean, the simple fact of the matter is,
you're like, this game's for preverts.
Well,
I ain't gonna buy that.
What about games like the?
I never heard of that one.
Well, yeah, it hasn't come out yet because I haven't even thought of a name for it yet.
That's good.
But there are games that have made those kind of choices where, you have sexualized female characters.
Okay, well, that's every fighting game, yeah.
Well, what about Bayonetta? Bayonetta, that's entirely what it was, but that was that was probably a fairly big budget release.
That's a good call.
It was a game people wanted to play, and, they made those choices about hyper-sexualizing the main character, but no, I think it's very much done in Bayonetta how it very much is done in this game. It's a gimmick, and people recognize that, and I think it's just an artistic standpoint.
Once again, I am stuffed mid-podcast by your incredible reason. I can no longer support my viewpoint. I have to stop that. So I can only say that I really enjoy the hot, semi-naked chicks.
Okay, I think that's something we can all agree with.
The gameplay is really tight. It's actually quite fun. It's very unforgiving, the AI, though. I'm on the easiest of easy, and I can barely get through the story mode. But then again, I've only played for maybe 2 or 3 hours.
Well, I think the biggest...
I still don't know any of the moves.
The biggest complaint I was about to make was that there's no... you have to go online for a move set, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's a clear error. I think that will be fixed.
Yeah, I think it will be.
That was not a choice, I think. That was a mistake. But
other than that, like I said in perfect summary, it's a love letter to 2D fighting games that also is very relevant to this generation. I think it's gonna be popular. I think it's gonna catch on.
That should be on their box art, man. If they had a box, but they don't. That's why I'm pushing for them to release a physical copy, so they can put a classic D Marks quote on the box.
Yeah,
we don't get paid for the quotes.
No.
But you see them on all the boxes.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's definitely worth $15. I was originally put off by that price. I said, nah, I don't know if it's going to be worth it, but it is. It's definitely... We here at Sons of Vidya, and you don't know this because I think it was on our Lost episode. Is that...
Our episode all about Lost.
We respect Guilty Gear as the ultimate fighting game.
Because...
Series.
It's the ultimate fighting
There's
game.
no real question about it. You might be like, well, Street Fighter, but you're wrong. You might be like, well, other game, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Get out. Stay out of the podcast.
Quit it.
Because, there's also tag mechanics in Skullgirls.
Yeah.
It's actually probably what you're supposed to be doing, but I don't do that. Anyway.
But that's another thing. I like the fact that you don't have to have a tag thing. Because that's what we all said Marvel vs. Capcom. We're like, boy, I just wish I could just have one Ghost Rider and be able to take on the entire enemy team and just have them be really strong.
Yeah. And I don't mind that one bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in here that are great decisions, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. It shouldn't be taken as a gimmicky game. Because you're getting a lot of great stuff there.
Yeah, like we both said. It's a game that has a lot of thought put into it, a lot of good choices made, a lot of unique choices made. And I think, like I said, I think it's going to catch on.
If you're fighting,
if you're a girl who likes to cosplay, get on that.
You send your picture to Sons of Vidya, and we'll get you Steam.
Oh yeah,
we'll buy you the company, man.
Yeah.
Oh boy, because there's going to be a lot of risque costumes. We're hoping at a convention. Yeah. I can't guarantee it because I don't know how they even make the costume.
We leave that to them.
The characters in the game are inventive. The graphics are excellent.
Yeah, I mean...
The entire art style is great.
It's some of the best sprites you're ever going to see.
It is. It's actually probably the leader of sprite animation right now. Because every frame has been drawn, hand-drawn, in HD. It's a gorgeous game.
Yeah, it's great to look at. The character designs... we talked about this on our pre-show warm-up segment, and I tried to find the least awkward way of saying it, but seeing as I didn't, I'm just going to go right in and be really embarrassed. The character designs...
Don't be embarrassed.
They're very touchable. You want to touch the characters, not in a sexual way, but just their design, it makes it look like they're very touchable.
You're not going to understand what he means until you play the game.
Yeah. But if you look at what always pops in my head for that is Philia. Philia, you're like, oh, she looks good, touchable good.
I really barely understand what you mean too, but I feel the same way.
It's like if you had a bunch of marshmallows and pillows arranged somewhere, you don't want to be like, I kind of want to touch that.
So it's soft.
Yeah, they look soft. That's a good word.
It's just a credit to the art style.
Yeah, it's Adam Ahaz, I think.
I don't know.
I think it's Adam Ahad.
I think so too.
But he's a great artist. He's top of his craft.
Everything's quality here. You even got the music director from Castlevania.
Yeah.
Which I got to be honest, the main menu theme I really really enjoy, and I would have probably had to be the music for this if I had the soundtrack, which I don't. / I think I could just get.
Probably.
Either way, don't pass it up if you're a fighting game fan.
No.
Don't. Grab it, get a friend, and learn how to play with them.
Oh, also, another thing that you shouldn't pass up. This weekend on a site we mentioned a few episodes ago.
I think it was last episode.
Maybe.
It most certainly was.
But Grand Old Games, GOG.com, this weekend they're having a sale on a whole bunch of Interplay games. So games like Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics, Earthworm Jim, a whole bunch of games are really cheap. So
we should stop plugging them until they start plugging us.
Dude, I don't care. It's a great website. I want them to stick around.
That's good. Keep going with that angle.
Yeah.
They're going to eventually fall for it. Oh, no. That's almost a callback. Guys, I'm just saying, you won't... The $15 is worth it.
Yeah.
Also, I think they're probably going to be good with DLC.
Yeah.
They're going to put male characters in, which who needs that?
Yeah, you should probably not do that.
There's no reason. But anyway, guys, we're winding down.
Yeah, this is it. Since we did our plugs at the beginning.
I want you guys to... I think we're probably going to do some
No, here's breaking news. Breaking news. Do.
Yeah.
We are about to get a fancy HD video game recorder thing. So you can expect fun, like Let's Play videos.
Just us hanging out playing video games.
And you can sit there with us and you can have all the fun.
You probably are coming to this podcast from having seen them.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to talk to the viewer, which they will be, but listeners from the past to the future.
Yeah.
So they know that we were thinking about them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, that's when it's going to be great.
Yeah.
We're already #1 podcast. We're going to be #1
video
exponentially thing.
Yeah.
1 squared. Guys, we have to wind down. We're at the end of the podcast. You know what that means.
Like I said, we already did our plugs.
We can't say the name of the segment.
No, I know, because we got to start off with the list.
Got it. We want you to know that I don't know how to do this gracefully.
All right. Well, the thing it is that this week we've taken a list of 10 games, the top
from videogamelist.com,
the top,
which is my new place to go,
SNES games from Video Games List
that exist, overall.
Yeah, overall. And we've taken this list, and with it, we're going to do our world famous speed review. Tom, Mega Man X.
Mega Man X is a game I actually really like a lot. The problem is I actually played most of these games, so I can't do a favorite review. I'm going to give it probably 7 out of 10. Final Fantasy 2, also known as 4.
Final Fantasy 4/2. This is the second time you've had your Final Fantasy, and you think it's a little weird. 2 or 4 out of 10. Street Fighter 2.
Street Fighter 2 is a game that I overlooked on this list because I can't count. Also, it's Grandpa, your fighting game. Your grandpa played, your grandpa was a world-class fighter, so in the game, 2 out of 10. Super Mario RPG.
All right, like Tom said about Mega Man X, I really like this game a lot. I think it's really cool. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, legitimately. Super Metroid.
Super Metroid's a game that I never played, but everyone says it's great, but I'm not going to play it, so whatever, 1 out of 10. Zelda Link to the Past.
This game pretty much donked it, 7 out of 10. Secret of Mana.
Secret of Mana is legitimately my favorite game of all time. It's not even a joke, this isn't a joke segment. All games should be compared to it. It's best RPG of all time, it's best action game of all time. Nothing can beat it, 10 out of 10. Super Mario World. Super
Mario World is the original open world game, except not really, but it kind of is in its own way. It's a great game, 9 out of 10. Final Fantasy 3/6.
Final Fantasy 3/6 is probably the most well-regarded Final Fantasy amongst fans. Everyone likes it a lot. You play as the clown guy, and then some other stuff happens, and there's sand in your eye or whatever, and then you ride a chocobo. It's 10 out of 10. Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger, that's it's one of those games that everyone likes. I don't really remember Chrono Trigger all that much, but I remember it being pretty good. 8.5 out of 10.
We did it!
That's it!
That's it! Email us. Look at the pictures. Do all the stuff. Thanks for listening. We like you a lot.